It's close to a perfect day here in New York City. Now, what would make it totally perfect? Well, for Alex Rodriguez, if he was in the lineup, still rehabbing, probably going to play tomorrow. Jose Bautista will play today. He leads Major League Baseball in home runs. Tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton and Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees just had a thrilling three-game set against the Boston Red Sox. They took 2 out of 3 from the Boston Red Sox, and last night might have been the best game of all.
Well, the Yankees had a comeback win last night in Boston. In 7th inning, they're down by 1 run until Russell Martin drives in 2 with this double. As the Yankees took a 3-2 lead, Martin would eventually score the 4th run for the Yankees. And that would leave it up to Mariano Rivera to close it out of the ninth. With the bases loaded, he catches Adrian Gonzalez looking, and the Yankees had a 4-2 lead and 2 out of 3 at Fenway Park.
So what does it mean in the standings? The Yankees and the Red Sox essentially tied. They both have 53 losses. The Yankees a half game behind. Red Sox have played 1 more game. And in the wild card, Yankees right now technically the leader in the wild card, and they have a 9-game lead in the loss column over the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's take a look now at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Brandon Morrow is going to go for the Blue Jays, 9-9, 4.79. He throws hard. Ivan Nova for the Yankees, the rookie, is 14-4 with a 3.69 ERA. And Paul, since coming back from the minor leagues, he's practically unbeatable.
Well, he's 6-0 since his recall. He's 14 wins. I mean, arguably his record shows he's a number 2 starter in this rotation. When he has his good breaking ball, you'll see some of these highlights. Slider or curveball, he can be dominant. He's got a great fastball, but one stat that I love, he's 15-0 when he has a lead. He never loses when he gets a lead. So if he gets a lead early, we can go home.
Well, there you go. So Paul's ready to go home. Can Ivan Nova get a lead? And can he win the Rookie of the Year? There are several candidates here in the American League. We'll break it down with Ken Singleton. Who's got the best chance? Singy will tell us next, right here on Yes. Away from the Yankees and the Blue Jays, Rookie of the Year. Who would have thought it when Ivan Nova was down in the minor leagues for a month that he would be in this group? But he's got to be one of the favorites. You see some of the people you would consider: Nova, Hellickson, Pineda, Trumbo, Hosmer, and then Jordan Walden, the closer for the Angels, 27 saves. Welcome back to Yankees baseball, everybody. That's Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Paul O'Neill will rejoin us in just a moment. So what do you think? You think Nova has a chance to be the Rookie of the Year?
I think he definitely has a chance. He has the best record. When you look at the winning percentage, 14-4, that's hard to beat. The others, Hellickson has a better earned run average, 3.01. And you also have Pineda, who's been a strikeout machine for the Seattle Mariners. That's as far as the pitchers go. As the hitters, Mark Trumbo's had a great year with the Angels. He's been one of their prime producers in their lineup. And as a rookie with 20-something home runs and up there near 100 RBIs, he's going to get some consideration. Same for Hosmer. I think Hosmer is a better all-around hitter than Trumbo, but I think that all of these guys are good candidates. But if I had a vote, I'm going with the winning percentage, and that means that Nova gets my vote.
All right, so 14-4, it could get better tonight. It doesn't mean most valuable rookie pitcher, just the best rookie player. That's what makes it complicated. It's going to be a little complicated to find out who the home run leader is. The two best are going at it this weekend. Will they change positions? Lineup first pitch baseball next. Domino's.com and see the progress of your order in real time with Domino's Tracker. By Advanced Urology Centers of New York, the best care in the world right in your backyard. And by T-Mobile's family plans with unlimited data, talk, and text. Step up to nationwide 4G. Well, the Yankees come back from a road trip. They split 4 games with the Orioles. They took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. And now it's against another division rival, the Toronto Blue Jays. So the Yankees have taken the field. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup, which they're going to face, presented by HP. Yunel Escobar, the shortstop, leads off, batting second and playing left field. Eric Thames. Jose Bautista leads the majors in home runs. He'll be in right field, batting third. Cleaning up the first baseman, Adam Lynn. Edwin Encarnacion will DH. He's going to bat fifth. Newly acquired second baseman Kelly Johnson will bat sixth. Brett Lawrie is the third baseman. He's going to bat seventh. Hitting eighth and catching J.P. Arancibia, and Mike McCoy, the center fielder, will bat ninth.
There's Ivan Nova taking his final warm-up tosses. He's drawn not only Blue Jays, but a few pigeons tonight. And these are his numbers. 22 starts this year, record of 14-4. Very impressive. A little more than a hit per inning. Opponents hitting .265. Let's check out our G Pitcher scouting report on Mr. Nova. And June 3rd, not only was that a long time ago that he lost, but it was a long way from here. He lost in Anaheim out against the Angels. A perfect 10. He's won his last 10 decisions and 7 of 11. In his 11 last starts, 7 of them he's given up 2 or fewer earned runs. He's been very solid.
Escobar's ready. Nova is ready. Crowd filing into the stadium, and let's do it here in the Bronx. The first pitch is outside, and we are underway.
With pitches, they're not going anywhere. Those are better than legend seats right there. Where you got to pay for those, Michael?
I don't know if there's a price. There's a strike. Well, the Blue Jays, their cousins are in town, so. Escobar, 145 hits. That leads the Blue Jays. Pitch outside. Boy, one errant pitch by Nova. There's going to be one less bird.
He's got a little hitch and as giddy up as it is. It looks like he's limping around out there. Has no clue where he is.
Pitch inside.
That's not the type of birdies you're looking for, is it, Paul?
You know what, Kenny? I mean, all joking aside, didn't it used to bug you when stuff was between you and the pitcher? Whether it was a hot dog wrapper or a bird or something, it would drive you crazy as a hitter.
And Yunel Escobar works a walk. So Nova starts off with a free pass. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. For the Yankees, in the outfield, Gardner, Granderson, and Andrew Jones. That's left to right. Infield, Chavez, Jeter, Nunez, and Swisher is at first base. First started first this season. Russell Martin behind the plate, and the rookie Ivan Nova is on the mound. Here is Eric Thames. And there's a strike.
Thames is another one of the players that's been called up from the minor leagues. Blue Jays are building a young team. And as far as their everyday players are concerned, I think they got some prospects out there, including Thames. Players like Lowry.
Fouled away.
You know, Kenny, we were talking a little bit before we went on the telecast about the other Canadian team, or used to be Canadian team, the Montreal Expos, and how much talent they had and how it was bring them into the league, and then as soon as they made money, you had to give them away to some of the bigger markets. Completely different situation here with Toronto. They're gonna put some money into this team, and this team is going to try to win even the American League East here in the next couple of years.
They are Canada's team. There's only one up there now.
Grounded foul.
Thames has shown some promise with the bat. He's hit 9 home runs in 70 games. Oh, look at this. Born in Santa Clara, California. 7th round by the Blue Jays, 2008. Made Major League debut May 18th of this year. 24 years old.
Born in 86. Makes you feel young, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the newest Yankee, Jesus Montero, born in '89. Just to really annoy you.
86. That was my first year. I got called up in 85, 86.
I was done playing by then.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
You had your last home run and your last strikeout.
That's it. Stats aren't changing.
The 0-2. 1-2.
Noah's had one start against the Blue Jays this year, and he won it. That was on May the 1st, right here at Yankee Stadium. And Nova went 6 1/3. Allowed a couple of runs. Yankees won 5-2. So he has seen these Blue Jays before. He's 1-1 in his career against Toronto.
Yankees got in early this morning. Long game in Boston. By the time they got to bed, about 3:45. Blue Jays played a day game in Baltimore, so they were in and had the night in New York, so they're a little bit better rested. That doesn't really mean much. Usually adrenaline gets you through this. The 1-2. 2-2.
It's a breaking ball right there that Nova can get a lot of strikeouts with. Disciplined hitter right there, but with 2 strikes, you see that sharp breaking ball end up out of the strike zone. It's a lot of swing and misses.
The 2-2. Fouled away.
Looking at Escobar at first. Now he's only stolen 3 bases. There's Don Wakamatsu, the interim manager. Manager John Farrell has been battling a bout of pneumonia, so he is not with the Blue Jays. They will probably, after this series, he'll rejoin the team. We certainly want to wish John quick recovery. And while he's been gone, Wakamatsu, interestingly enough, has not sat in the manager's office. He will not sit in the office and do his interviews before, out of respect for John Farrell.
Grounded past the diving Nick Swisher into right field. Escobar goes to third, and the Blue Jays are set up. Runners on first and third, and nobody out.
Nothing against Nick Swisher, but you're just so used to seeing Teixeira just catch every single ball to the right side of the infield. Good piece of hitting as a left-handed hitter with that man on first base. Stays on top of that ball, drives it in the hole. Swisher gives it a good effort just out of his reach.
That's what that hole is there for, is a left-handed hitter with man aboard. If you could somehow drag a breaking ball or get on top of a fastball like he just did, just Bounce it over there with a little authority. Get it through.
Here's Jose Bautista. 39 home runs. Leads the majors. Dub foul.
He's bidding to become the first Blue Jay since Carlos Delgado to have back-to-back 40 home run seasons. And Delgado was a prime force for the Blue Jays. Those two, not only those 2 years, but just about the whole time he was in Toronto.
The 0-1. Grounded, and it squeezes through the right side for a base hit. Scoring easily is Escobar. Thames goes to third. It's an RBI single for Bautista, his 90th ribby of the year, and the Blue Jays have a run.
You know, Nova's got to be frustrated. 2 balls not hit real hard, but they find holes. And as a, you know, when you're throwing sinker balls, you're not getting strikeouts. You see this ball sink, but off the end of the bat, just finds a hole.
When he swung the bat, I can tell you Bautista was not thinking that type of a hit,
No.
but he'll take it.
A lot of times you'll see guys try to force or punch the ball over. That looked like a ball that he was actually trying to pull. It just ended off going off the end of the bat, finding a hole on the right side.
Still runners on the corners. Here's Adam Lind. And still nobody out. Drilled to left field, giving chase. Gardner, he makes the play. Tagging his Thames, he'll score. It's a sack line drive for Adam Lind, and the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead.
Ball hit hard. Adam Lind does a good job of driving the ball the other way. Brett Gardner gets a great jump on this ball. You know, there's no way he's got to have a chance to throw him out at third base. That ball's hit hard.
Michael, you had mentioned the other day how Brett Gardner stands out as the best defensive left fielder. There's a prime example as to why there's a lot of left fielders would not have caught that ball. That ball would have been in the corner for an extra base hit.
Ooh. That one is driven to left field. Another great play by Gardner. And they're going to double up Bautista, who's all the way at second. They will flip the ball to Nick Swisher, and he is there for the double play. Scoring 7-6-2. Encarnacion robbed of an extra base hit, and Gardner turns it into 2 outs. Blue Jays score 2. Let's take a look now at the Yankees starting lineup. That's going to try to make that up, and it's presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner, wow, left fielder. He's going to lead off, batting second. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter. Curtis Granderson in center field will bat third. Cleaning up the DH, Robinson Cano. Nick Swisher's at first base. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing third base, Eric Chavez. Andrew Jones in right field will bat seventh. Hitting eighth and catching, Russell Martin. And Eduardo Nunez, the second baseman, will bat ninth.
27-year-old right-hander Brandon Morrow on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays. And he gets a start tonight. Very hard thrower. He's had 24 starts. His record is leveled off at 9-9. And still less than a hit per inning and a lot of strikeouts. Let's check out our pitcher scatter report on young Mr. Morrow. Go sit down. He averages over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. That is tops in the American League. But he's been roughed up lately. They say he hasn't been using his off-speed pitches. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 10 innings, and he went 1-4 in the month of August with a high earned run average.
Go sit down. That sounds like you've said that before.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, stand in the outfit. Get out of here. Get out of here.
There's Brett Gardner. He's put in a full day in the top of the first inning defensively. Now he leads off.
You talk about a couple great plays, but where Nova was in the first inning, couple hard hit balls, I mean, you could scratch out on paper that he might have saved 2 or 3 runs in that inning by defensively, doubling him off, those balls not getting down the line.
Popped up, left side, Escobar a long run, and he makes the play. Good play by Escobar. Why don't we take a look at the last out of the top of the first inning, and we'll take a look at the IOTV HD Super Shot.
One advantage you do have as a left-hander playing left field is, your glove side going to the line almost comes out of his glove, but again, he was loose from the play before. A couple really, really good plays. Down the road, you hopefully don't forget about it, because it could have changed the game there in the first inning.
Score the double play 7-6-2. Check that 7-6-3.
Pretty strong throw from Jeet right there.
Yeah, that's right. Saving it for later.
Here is Jeter, and he fights it off and fouls it back. Since returning from the DL, Jeter hitting .347 in 48 games. He's at .297 overall. The 0-1. 0-2. James Hoyd, the home plate umpire, an excellent voice.
Morrow is one of those guys that can be really good, or he has a lot of ups and downs. When he's in the mid-90s, which you see tonight, completely different pitcher. Some nights he'll come out at 89, 91. Some nights he'll come out in the mid-90s. Looks like one of his good nights.
Morrow does not like pitching here at the stadium. 4 career starts here, 7.58 ERA. So Jeter in an 0-2 hole. All back.
This is a little change up in the battery for the Jays now. This is the first time I've seen Aaron Sibia catch Morrow in a long time. Usually it's Jose Molina, the veteran, going with the younger pitcher. But Don Wakamatsu changes things up.
Swing and a miss. Jeter down on strikes. Let's check out the Blue Jays defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, left to right, it's Thames, McCoy, and Bautista. Bautista has a great arm out there, right? Then it's Laurie, Escobar, Johnson, and Lynn, third to first. Aaron Sibia behind the plate, and Morrow is on the mound. Here's Granderson. His great defensive play in the 6th inning yesterday might have saved that game for the Yankees. Jed Lowry, with runners on first and second, hit one to right center, and Granderson just ran it down. A full body dive for the final out. One, 2-1. And those same defensive metrics that tell you how great Gardner is, they do not favor Curtis Granderson. He does not grade out well with those metrics, although he's done a nice job in center field for the Yankees this year. High fly ball, right field. Bautista back in the corner. He leaps and he makes the play. It was a foul ball. But Bautista ran it down for the final out of the first as the Yankees go down in order. 1, 2, 3. Bautista into the corner, a little bit of a leap, makes the play for the final out. Blue Jays 2, Yankees nothing. Important tonight at Yankee Stadium because the Same Sky event at Yankee Stadium, second annual, is going on at the ballpark, and Kim Jones comes in to tell us what this is about, because this is a great cause put together by some important women here at Yankee Stadium.
Absolutely, Michael. Mindy Franklin Levine has her heart invested in Same Sky. She is the wife of Yankees president Randy Levine, and joining her in hosting the event, Assistant General Manager Gene Afterman. And what these ladies love about Same Sky is it is an organization founded a few years ago by Francine Lafrac. And Ms. Lafrac wanted to help the women of Rwanda who survived the genocide in 1994. Importantly, we must note, this is not a charity. This is a way to help women help themselves. It is about offering a hand up, not a hand out. In that regard, Ms. Lafrac has a business where these women crochet beautifully beaded jewelry, bracelets, and now necklaces as well, and they are sold, including at tonight's event here at the stadium. These women in Rwanda, and it has now expanded to Zambia, earn a living that far exceeds the average salary of their locale. These are women who lived in public housing who now own homes. They can now put a roof over their family's head, food on a table, and even have a table. These are women, most of whom are HIV positive, who tell Ms. Lafrac, I know I'm going to die, but now I also know that when I'm gone, my family can provide for itself. It is a remarkable endeavor. When Ms. Lafrac began it, there were 4 women making jewelry. Now there are 75.
Now, Kim, why is the Yankee organization so committed to this cause?
Well, Mrs. Levine will tell you we need to help our sisters, whether they live next door, and the Yankees do plenty of that as well, or whether they live way beyond our borders. And oceans, she said, does not separate our hearts. And in that regard, we all do indeed live under the same sky. And as Gene Afterman pointed out, this is a year in which the Yankees are celebrating women in sports. And as Gene Afterman told me, let's also celebrate women around the world and women in life. And in this case, women under the same sky.
Now, Kim, you're sporting this necklace and this bracelet as well. They're pretty sharp looking.
Yes, Francine Lafrac has done a terrific job. The bracelets are absolutely beautiful. The colors are terrific in the necklaces as well. And Mindy Levine insisted I'd be accessorized tonight, and I was not going to argue with Mindy Franklin Levine, I tell you that. But this is something everyone here is very committed to. It is a tremendous cause. And also, Michael, I do emphasize, this isn't charity. This is to help women find a way to help themselves and earn a living that enables them to help not only their lives, but the lives of their families.
Great story, Kim. A great job by Mindy Levine and Gene Afterman. And this is an outstanding thing that's being done to help these women, and we thank you for telling us that story.
And Francine Lafrac as well, Michael. And if you would like to get further information on Same Sky, www.samesky.com. You can also become a fan on Facebook or follow Same Sky on Twitter.
Cool stuff. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Aaron Sibia fouls one the other way. There are 2 outs here in the second. Kelly Johnson grounded out to Nunez, and Nova took the throw, and then Brett Laurie flied out to Granderson for the second out. So that's where we stand right now. Top of the second, 1-2 count on JP Aaron Sibia with 26 home runs, but a .221 batting average. Nova deals, swung on and missed, breaking ball, and that will do it. So Nova with a nice bounce back inning as he gets the Blue Jays in order. 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second. Blue Jays 2, Yankees nothing on Yes. Is if there was a Cy Young Award for rookies, who would be your American League choice? Here are your choices. Would it be Jeremy Hellickson? Would it be Ivan Nova? How about Michael Pineda or Jordan Walden, the closer for the Angels? Make a decision, then text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply.
This is going to be over a landslide. I'm telling you right now.
You're giving it to Nova?
Oh, just by a landslide.
All right.
We got Yankee fans voting on this thing, too.
So you think it's a little slanted?
Possibly.
Right. I think it's a little slanted, but I think he deserves
He's
it.
good.
Yeah.
Here's Robinson Cano. He's the DH tonight. 8 games as a DH in his career. 12 for 31. That's .387. 2 home runs and 5 ribbies.
The Yankees got in very early in the morning, and Joe Girardi giving Cano a semi-day off.
Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Looks like a nice sky. Let's see what the words say. 74 degrees, 58% humidity, not much wind. It's a nice night in the Bronx.
It's a nice night in the Bronx.
Boy, they really have Cano play unlike most other teams.
Wow.
They've got the third baseman Laurie playing pretty much shortstop, and Cano will hit the ball to where the third baseman
He hit a bullet last night right at the third base.
Yeah.
The base is loaded.
Don Wakamatsu, the interim manager. John Farrell's on the mound. And by the way, Wakamatsu has managerial experience with the Seattle Mariners. highly respected baseball guy.
Most certainly.
Here's the 2-2. Foul back. And also he, at his right hand, is the great Brian Butterfield. And I know that Paul spent hours deprogramming Butterfield today.
I spent a little time with him today, and it's like I've never left him. It's hilarious. He brings back memories, brings back stories. He doesn't have enough energy for it. You know, that guy right there never stops.
Oh, he knows the camera's right in his mug, too. Now he's playing it up. 2-2.
Tough pitch.
Swung on and missed.
It's a tough pitch for lefties because lefties are so, I mean, what lefty does not like the ball down and in? But when you start that ball down and then run it in out of the strike zone, tough pitch for lefty to lay off of. Now this is what gets me, Kenny, and you said it, you know, he's getting a half day off by DHing. And it used to drive me crazy because I got just as frustrated 0 for 4 as a DH as I did if I got loose and played right field.
You know, maybe even more so because you got more time to think about it. You don't have to worry about fielding your position as when you're DHing.
Here's Nick Swisher. No, we made a big deal yesterday with a runner on second and 1 out why Nick Swisher would have bunted, and we came up with the only thing that we could think of was he didn't know how many outs there were, and he admitted it after the game, that he was so caught up in Robinson Cano's at bat that he forgot that there was an out before that, and he laid down the bunt. So he took the bullet and said, you know, my bad. It's easier to do that when the team won, but that was a very big play at the time. You ever forget how many outs there were?
Oh yeah, I didn't admit it like he did though. Yeah, I don't think there's a guy who's stepped on the field at some time or another doesn't forget. I mean, I don't know how many times as an outfielder you start running in and you think there's 3 outs and get everybody's attention.
Morrow looks good right now as he gets Swisher on the same pitch almost that he got Cano.
Yeah, he's got a good sharp breaking ball tonight, and this is his second straight strikeout on a very similar pitch. It's down and in. Swisher starts, ball dives out of the zone, and he's out of there. You know, sometimes you get fooled on the scoreboard. You look at the scoreboard at the outs, and maybe number 2 is up.
Yeah.
And you look and you think there's 2 outs, and really there's 1, and you're running around the bases on a fly ball, and then all of a sudden you're doubled up.
Tomorrow he really pitched Swisher tough because he went backdoor slider, and then he threw that slider down and in. As a player, when you're 0-2 and you haven't seen a fastball, you're thinking, you know, he's going to bust me with that fastball in, and all of a sudden he threw that slider down and in. Tough at bat.
This guy does have good stuff, man. He was part of the Brandon trade. Brandon Morrow came to Toronto, and Brandon League went to Seattle.
2 good pitches.
Yeah. League made the All-Star team this year.
The 2-0. That's the resume on Morrow, born in California, former first-round draft pick, the 5th pick in the 06 draft. And 1 year later, he made his debut for the Mariners. And then they gave up on him in 2 years. 3-0 to Chavez. And he walks. Yankees first base runner. IOTV offers incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. IOTV is the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. Here's Andrew Jones. A rare start against a right-hander. And maybe Joe Girardi figures not a bad matchup, a hard-throwing right-hander. But he's shown that he also has pretty good breaking ball.
Well, if it's any reward for the at-bat he had last night, that 14-pitch at-bat that got the Yankee rally started, the hit by Russell Martin drove into 2 runs. It was Andrew Jones' at-bat that started that. 14 pitches.
I don't know if you remember, Kenny, I'm sure you do, is how, you know, mentally drained you get to first base after fouling 14er because you're battling every pitch, and you get down there, you felt like you've played a whole game by 1 at bat. Just be, you know, because your concentration kind of heightens every single pitch, and you wear yourself out.
Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, said Phil Cuzzy.
Very impressive, though, last night. Walked 3 times in the game. Here's a look. Did he check his swing? Maybe not.
Can't take it back now, though,
he got a reward for that at bat last night.
The 1-1. Now, when you see Andrew Jones in there as a DH against a righty, it doesn't take a detective to figure out that essentially Jorge Posada has lost his job as a DH. They called up Montero. Montero's going to DH against lefties, and with the fact that you're DHing Cano and you're using Nunez in second, Jorge hasn't played against righties now for a couple of games, so his lack of consistency, I think, has cost him at this point, but there's still a month to go. Grounded to short. They'll go the short way, and that will do it here in a second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 2 in the Bronx. It's 2-0 Toronto. Brought to you by Accel Express. Enjoy the journey. 2 more games against Toronto, both 105 starts, both of them right here on Yes. And then the Orioles are in town. 105 on Monday, Labor Day, 7:05 on Tuesday, and then 105 on Wednesday. Then they play the Orioles in Baltimore, that makeup game, a 105 start, and then on to the West Coast, 3 games in Anaheim against the Angels. Mike McCoy takes a strike, 0-1 as we start the 3rd.
Mike McCoy starting in center field. The Blue Jays actually dealt for Colby Rasmus from the Cardinals, but as we look at our Lincoln scoreboard, it's 2-0 Toronto, but he's on the DL with a sore wrist, so McCoy's in center.
Hot shot to Jeter, and Nick Swisher goes up to get it, but the throw pulls him off the bag. That's going to be an E6 on Jeter.
See, Jeet just kind of, you can tell right off the get-go it's high. Swisher gets off the bag the wrong way.
Looked like he had too much time.
Yeah.
And just kind of floated it over there.
Here's Yunel Escobar with a runner on first.
McCoy did a good job. You know, your natural tendency as a base runner is to go to the outside of the base, especially going to first base. Got a good read of Swisher going down the line and slid inside.
See how high Nick Swisher goes on the Coors Light freeze can. So he's got some hops. He's got to get down to tag out McCoy. That doesn't happen.
McCoy going to the inside part of the base. Great call, great read by his. A lot of times as a hitter in Kenny, you'll know you hit a ground ball, you put your head down and you run through first. He had his head up. He read that Swisher was going to the outside part of the base. Little trick slide in at first base.
Watching Escobar at the plate here, and he has a style that you used to see more of, you don't see much of anymore. The way he wraps the bat around his ear, and because you have to bring it all the way around, you really have to be quick. Remember Julio Franco?
Oh, you really have to have strong hands to hit this way, because you're in a position here where you've got to get the bat back, and it takes longer for most people when it's wrapped out that way. Uh-oh, that little.
Escobar saying there's something in his line of sight out there.
All I can see is his picture up on the video board. Maybe he doesn't like that picture.
I like his picture. I mean, the hitting background itself is right in here. As a hitter, when you're trying to pick up a pitch, really, that's all you can see. None of this up in here comes into play.
Now, Don Wakamatsu's come out. You know, one thing. Did you play Municipal Stadium in Cleveland? Did you ever play there?
Yeah, it was my first game.
You know, the scoreboard was lower there, and they would flash the lights or something when the opposing batters were up there, and they had to try and get them to stop it. It seemed they always waited till it was a clutch situation, and they just changed all the numbers on the board while you were hitting.
There were certain parks that there were people sitting. Boston was horrible in day games against lefties. You would lose the ball. They had to block off that part of the bleachers. You couldn't pick up the ball.
That's why the capacity for a day game at Fenway is less than night games, because they can sell those seats at night. They can't sell them during the day because there's more of a glare in the day if somebody's sitting with a white shirt in the seats that Paul was talking about. The Blue Jays, talking about backgrounds, actually came under some fire about a month ago. ESPN, the magazine, did a big expose that they're stealing signs at Rogers Center, where they have a guy in a white suit sitting in the stands, getting the signs and then standing up whether or not the ball is going to be a fastball or a curve. Now, the numbers might not indicate it. They certainly don't, except for the home runs, 15 more home runs. And there's 8 average points, but they have a losing record at home. And the Blue Jays say it's nonsense, it's not true. But they actually had other players see the guy stand up in several different games. The guy with the white suit.
And comes in with a white suit every game?
I guess.
Well, to start with.
You sure he wasn't selling ice cream or something?
Good humor man's out there tipping pitches.
Grounded up the middle, grabbed there by Nunez. Flips to Jeter to get the force.
Nice play by the tandem up the middle. Nunez went for ball. Jeter wasn't going to get it. Jeter went for the bag to get the force on McCoy. Here it is on the back. And this is a tough play. They made it look easy. Jeter with the reception, steps on the bag ahead of McCoy for the out.
Tell you what, where Derek was his back turned and his foot on the base. If that guy goes in to break up 2, that can become a dangerous play right there.
Here's Eric Thames. Swinging a miss. Now, Eric spells his name the same way Marcus spells his name, the former Yankee, but Marcus pronounced his name Timms. Eric says his name is pronounced Thames.
Michael, I wasn't an English major, but Tim's out of Thames, I don't get it.
Got to talk to Marcus about that.
Yeah, before he left town, I never got to ask him.
In England, it's the River Thames.
Didn't Marcus sign with the Yankees? He's in the minors?
He was released by the Dodgers. I think he might be right.
Yeah.
And by the way, in terms of like the suspicion of stealing signs at Rogers Center last year, Toronto had 146 home runs at home and 111 on the road. Suspiciously lopsided.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the pristine conditions at the Rogers Center. I mean, it's always nice inside. You don't have to worry.
Place to hit.
Yeah, it is. You don't have to worry about
park.
the wind blowing in and taking your best shot and just putting it in an outfielder's glove. But it is quite a discrepancy in the number of homers.
Swing and a miss. Thames goes down on strikes.
And Paul, it looks like Nova has discovered his breaking ball, and it was last inning. He didn't have it in the first inning, but now he's got it.
That was a slider there. He's thrown some nasty breaking or some curveballs too. You're right. When he's at his best, he has his good breaking ball. He always has his fastball. I mean, that's his bread and butter. But when you get a strikeout pitch and his curveball with his slider, he's in good shape. That's a curveball.
Bautista squib an RBI single through the right side in the first inning.
Well, these two have a little bit of a history. I think it was Nova's first start. It was at Rogers Center, and Bautista hit a homer against him. And then Nova sailed one over his noggin the next time up. That was August of last season. Oh, we're going to take a look at it. Okay.
Kenny, you speaking? It's whoa.
Well, Bautista didn't like it. Things got a little heated at the Rogers Center. Now, prior to that, Bautista had taken him deep. I think it might have been the first major league home run Nova gave up. He decided he'd had enough.
That's enough for this. Huh? Time I watch, pitchers face guys, and the first three pitches were nasty, and then also he got away with one. And that pitch right there, to as good a hitter as Bautista is, Nova got away with one there because he hung that ball out over the middle of the plate. That ball just spin and just kind of sit there.
If it was up higher, it would have been. Yeah, you would have hit it. Watch Escobar. He's had himself a pretty good year. He's reaching base quite often. But look, he only has 3 stolen bases, and I think that's something where he can improve on. If you're a shortstop, you should be able to run a little bit.
Runner goes. Go to second. God, another good throw by Russell Martin. And that'll do it here in the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and because of the caught stealing, nobody left on base. Nunez applies the tag, and Escobar is out. trust. At GE Capital, we prove that every day.
I'll tell you what, Russell Martin picks a curveball out of the dirt, makes a great throw. A good pitch to throw on, no. Look at this, out of the dirt. Tremendous play. And did he get him? Yep, he got him.
Now explain this to me. The major league's leading home run hitter, and you're going to get thrown out? You're going to take the bat out of his hand?
Not only that, if you make it, he probably won't get anything to hit for the rest of the at bat.
It doesn't make sense. And you would just to tell that he doesn't steal bases.
Now he's even, 50-50.
Here's Russell Martin. Martin has now thrown out 33 of 107 base stealers. That's 31%, which is very good.
That is excellent.
Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 Jays.
Martin had a 3-for-16 road trip, but the biggest hit he got was last night in Boston. Right on time.
Fought back from 0-2.
2-run double and 2 nasty breaking balls from Daniel Bard.
Kenny, I've landed today.
Yeah.
Just the usual thing. I'm rushing around trying to get to the game all the time. I get in the car. The guy says, "What do you want to listen to?" I said, "Turn on Michael Kay show. Let me see what I've missed since I've been in the air."
Yeah.
The man's singing to me.
Michael was singing?
Michael, you're singing on the air today. And you know what? The driver turned back to me. He's like, "Is this the right station?" I said, "Hang on a second," until he's finished singing.
What was he singing?
He was singing the Jerry Lewis.
Because Jerry Lewis has been like aced out of the NBA telethon. He's not being allowed to do it this year.
Ooh.
So I said, I'm going to miss him singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." So I sang a couple of bars.
Yeah, you did. Twice, matter of fact.
I thought I did an excellent job.
That's probably where he learned how to sing.
The look on the driver's face is what got me. Is this the right station?
And what station was that, Paul? 1050 ESPN?
I couldn't tell you. He flipped it on for me.
I'm glad you got a chance to hear that. And Russell Martin works a walk. Second base runner for the Yankees. Second walk. One to Chavez, one to Martin.
Looking up there, Texas 6-0 over Boston. Big series, Detroit. You got to figure if Detroit and Chicago, if Chicago's in this thing at all, they have to do something in this series. The problem is, I think Verlander's throwing in there.
Detroit's winning, aren't they?
Yeah.
That means he's throwing.
There's a 0 in the White Sox column.
That's a good chance he's pitching. Nunez should get a pretty good pitch to hit here. After a walk, falling behind 1-0.
You know, every once in a while, as a young player, you think, you know, you're doing the right thing. I'm going to work this guy, and you just take a fastball right down the middle. You know, as a manager, you've got him in there for a reason to swing the bat and do the things he can do offensively.
It's kind of strange to see him out at second base tonight, too. Cano, designated hitter tonight.
Punched out to right field. Bautista coming on. He'll make the play. And an off-balance throw to first is not in time to get Martin.
Now, we've seen Bautista at third base, and he's a pretty good third baseman, but he is excellent in right field. And he gets a good break on this ball. Bautista's, I should say, Nunez's bid for a base hit. Then there's the throw on the run, like you would see him do at third base, trying to double up Russell Martin.
Tell you what, he's a solid all-around baseball player. He works at every facet. I mean, in the first inning, he made a great play down the corner. I think sometimes you see it a lot in Robbie Cano's case too. When you're that good of a hitter, people forget about your defense, and one of the better defensive players in right field in the game today.
Count 1-0.
And he was switched to third base while they were waiting for Brent Lowry's hand to heal. Lowry had broken a hand in the minor leagues. He was being called up the next day, and he got hit by a pitch and broke his hand.
It's not a good feeling. And I remember strike. One year I got sent down, and Pete Rose told me, I'm going to send you down there for the 10 days. I want you to get some at-bats in and come back and you'll be ready to go. And I went down, and like 3 days into it, I broke my hand diving for a ball. But the only problem is, you look at that, when you're sent down to minor league salary. You're sent down so you draw that the rest of the year. I'm like, great decision, Pete. Thank you very much.
1-1. 2-1. You must have been a joy after that happened.
Well, I tell you what, there's no way to sugarcoat it. When you get sent back to the minor leagues, I mean, it's horrible. It's just, you don't want to go back. You'd rather sit on the bench and just hope for an opportunity, because there's no good thing about it once you've come from the minor leagues to go back down.
Yeah, once you start getting that big league meal money. Travel around
hotels.
Travel around the country in style.
Yeah, the Motel 6 in AAA is a beautiful thing, though, isn't it, Ken? Huh?
I don't remember. I say traveling in style, albeit 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, but still.
Given out to right field. Bautista back. Still back. It's going to be gone. A home run. Brett Gardner sneaks one over the wall. A 2-run shot, and the game is tied at 2.
Well, Brett Gardner had been struggling somewhat lately. I believe coming in today, he was 6 for his last 54. But his last few at-bats, the last few games, he's been hitting the ball a lot harder. And this is a line drive that just carried right to the seats. Looked like the guy didn't even know he had it. The ball went in his glove, and he didn't even know he caught it. And here's Morrow. Who has now given up 6 home runs in his last, I think, 12 or 13 innings.
81 at-bats between home runs to Gardner. Last one he hit August 7th. 6th of the year.
Talk about a ball that gets out quick. I mean, that's a line drive. A lot of times, and this is where the new Yankee Stadium, in my mind, is a home run park. Is right over that scoreboard. Those line drives will get out of here, and a lot of other parks they won't. Always hit hard. Jeet having a little problem with his grip there. Every once in a while, like pine tar will slip as you're swinging the bat.
Broken bat, ground ball is short. Escobar. And he gets Jeter on the way by. And Jeter does not agree. That wind got him. 2 away. Joe Girardi will come out. They're going to check with the first or the home plate on. And he's safe. And now Wakamatsu's going to come out.
Kenny, is that a new rule, though? And once you've been called out, you can ask for another opinion?
Well, they're going to have to calm down Escobar, too, because I think he just got an error.
Yeah, but, I mean, when you were called out at first base, there was no like screaming at the ump and hey, hang on a second, let me go check.
That wasn't my job.
Yeah.
Well, why is Escobar upset for making a bad throw?
Because originally there was an out, and now he's got an E6.
Well, what I don't understand is how would the home plate umpire see it better than the first base umpire?
Because his job is to follow the play and look right down the line. There's the conference. Phil Cuzzy informed by James Hoy that there was no contact between the glove and Derek Jeter.
So an E6 on Escobar. And here's Granderson. I don't think you can ask Paul for the appeal. The other umpire, if he thinks the home plate umpire can see it better, will ask for help.
Yes.
But it's not as if Jeter said check with the home plate umpire.
Jeter said I was safe, and he said hang on, let me find out.
Check with that fan over there, will you?
Foul that. Kenny, can I borrow your whiteout? I put a 6-3 down. Thank you.
There you go, Michael.
Paul, you don't need it, right?
No, but I'm watching you go to work. That stuff works.
You're welcome.
That one gets away from Arancibia, and Jeter goes to second.
That's a wild pitch. Arancibia can't handle it off the glove, and Jeter moves into scoring position.
Key right here is to get a quick read and go. I mean, you have to make up your decision. You can't wait to see how far that ball is going to get away from the catcher. It's such a tough play for a catcher to pick up the ball and then still throw you out.
I think you're taught to follow the pitch to the plate. And if it looks low, like it might get in the dirt, then you start to lean a little bit.
Got to get out on that front foot, and if it's in the dirt and it gets away from him at all, if you make a quick break, you'll make it. Those are the reaction plays too. I mean, the first base coach can't help you with that. Nobody can help you other than doing what Jeet did right there, is get a quick break, a good read from the pitch, see that it's going to be in the dirt.
Granderson had sort of a slow road trip. He was 5 for 25, but 2 of the 5 hits were homers. Down at Camden Yards. Your favorite ballpark, Paul, to hit in.
Not a bad place.
Wish went on the Utah street. He's going to get a little plaque like you got out there.
You ever see that plaque, Paul?
Somebody sent me a picture in the mail. They had taken a picture of it and sent it. I've never been out there walking behind it.
I think it also has the distance on it, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Paul O'Neill, I think it's at 434 or something like that.
600. Something like that.
600 would have been in the Inner Harbor.
Strike 3. Granderson down looking. There it is.
There it is.
431, does that say?
I don't know, but how did we get that picture so quick?
431. April 30th. I can't read the rest of the date there.
1924.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not recent. Neat.
A lot of people have stepped on that.
There's a lot of them out there, though, right?
Yeah, there's 30 something out there.
Cano has one, and the guy on deck, Nick Swisher, will have one now.
I do know this, though. Of all the visiting teams, the Yankees have the most out there on Utah Street. Giambi had one. Maybe Giambi had 2 of them out there.
It's interesting, too, because Swisher said afterward that he tries all the time at BP, just can't do it. He said that's why he was shocked that the game he got it done.
You know, 95 mile an hour fastball goes a lot better. I mean, average BP is probably 65.
April 30th, 1996, off Arthur Road.
431. I gave you 6 extra, a few extra feet. But eventually, that whole street's going to be like that.
Yeah. Cobblestone.
The 0-2.
Oh, tough pitch. Right under your hands. Struck him out last time with that ball down and in. Now you go in, up, right under the hands.
You know, we had mentioned the other night that Curtis Granderson was leading the league in extra base hits. He's got company now. Cano is tied with him for league leading extra base hits.
Robbie's been on like a doubles thing lately.
Yeah.
Stay tuned during the 6th inning for a message from our friends at the Fox Business Network.
Cano was out earlier today with Kevin Long working on that speed drill that where they divide home plate in half and a little flip toss and work on your quickness.
Thing is, you know, what they work on is obviously being quick on that inside pitch, but being able to keep the ball fair too, and that's the important thing. It doesn't matter how quick you are. If you pull it foul, you've done nothing other than giving the pitcher a strike. If you get that ball inside and you're quick enough, but you can keep it fair, that's when you can really hurt a pitcher.
1-2. Grounded foul. Yankees tied the game this inning. A walk to Martin, 1 out later. A line drive home run over the auxiliary scoreboard out in right center. And tied the game at 2. Blue Jays got their 2 runs in the top of the first. Well, Brett his 6th home run of the year. Now has 34 ribbies.
Got in late last night. It looked like Brett Gardner made it to the barbershop, didn't he? Clean shaven today.
1-2. Swing and a miss.
Pitch, tough.
2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 man left. 1 swing. Brett Gardner sends it into the Bronx night and into the seats and right. 2-2 game. We go to the 4th inning. Time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Since 1945, which 4 players have led the majors in both walks and home runs? We'll find that out in the bottom of the inning.
4 plus. See, those 4 things always. I get 1 or 2, but to throw 4 out there immediately, that's tough.
I like that you played along via text on our last road trip. You got both of them wrong.
Oh, I got them right. I just didn't have them all right. I just didn't have them all. And I admitted it over text, too. I like the way you threw that out there, everybody, too.
Bautista hits one deep to right center field. Going back, Swisher leaps. Oh, Jones, I'm sorry. And he makes the play. Swisher's at first. Jones makes the play for the first out.
That was one of those Andrew Jones plays from years ago when he's playing center field for the Atlanta Braves. Let's see if he gets over the wall here, Paul. He's up, still going, still climbing. Whoa.
Might have been right off the padding. I'm calling a padding shot. But great play by Andrew Jones. In slow motion, you just don't understand how little time you have as an outfielder with that ball moving and you moving at the same time. Over salutes.
I don't know if that would have gotten out, but it would have been an extra base hit.
Adam Lynn takes a strike.
And there's that curveball to Nova. If he can throw that for strikes.
Grounded foul, 0-2.
Michael, you remember what I said in the pregame now? Toronto's in a tough situation right here because if Nova gets the lead, it's over. He's 15 times. He's 15-0 when he's had the lead at any time in the game. Great stat for a new pitcher.
The 1-2.
I like the fact that he doesn't mess around on the mound. That he gets the ball. Well, this is a foul ball. It's a little tougher to tell here, but gets the ball, steps right up. Let's go. Give me a sign.
Doesn't shake off a lot. Gets in there, throws. You know, it is. It's a great rhythm to play behind, and it puts pressure on you as a hitter. It tells you, you know, that guy has confidence and he thinks he can get you out. There's no thinking about what's going on.
Now back to the screen.
Lynn's one of those guys that, you know, they expect great things from in the future. He was out a month earlier in the year. And offensively, somebody, especially a left-handed hitter, is going to have to produce behind Bautista.
Tomahawk foul.
Quick visit from Russell Martin. Maybe that was a lazy breaking ball, but it was too far in, and the only way Lynn could hit it hard was to pull it. Now they're trying to think, how are we going to put this guy away?
You know what? He's fouled off a breaking ball. He's fouled off a fastball, and he also fouled off a curveball in this at bat. So you're thinking, what's my best option here? And to me, if a left-hander's fouling your breaking balls off and pulling them foul, I go sinker away. And the worst he can do is, you know, hit it to the left side or roll over.
Back here. Got into the press box.
I saw the scenes on that one. It's as close as I think I've seen one up there. See, it's funny because you still see a lot of kids at the ballpark and at home. Everybody's back at school. You don't start school until after Labor Day.
So they're back in school in Ohio?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
That's right. Right off the farm, Michael. We just put them back in school.
Well, tomorrow's Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah. We got Saturday school, too.
Boy, that's a tough school district. You got to go to school on Saturday.
Rounded to second.
Oh.
A little ice cream cone there for Nunez.
But you throw it right around the horn like you knew you had it. Ball was hit hard. You kind of look up. See what happens here is you get this glove behind him. And, you know, as a fielder, if you're not looking out in front of you, you kind of lose that ball the last foot or so. Very fortunate that ball stayed in his glove.
Notice him blowing a bubble like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Encarnacion takes low.
Look at the game-changing at bat right now as Encarnacion hit that bullet in the first inning with men on base that Brett Gardner ran down. Just a foul going off his toe recently. You see that pad over that toe.
Grounded to Jeter. And that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning with some help from his defense for Nova. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It's a 2-2 game on yes. Time to take a look at the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Since 45, which four players have led the majors in both walks and home runs? I would think Barry Bonds is one.
I would say Reggie Jackson.
Ted Williams. Ted Williams is one.
Killebrew, Schmidt, McGuire, and Bonds.
Killebrew.
Maybe there was 5. Didn't Reggie do it too?
Didn't Ted Williams do it? Every time you get walks and homers mixed together.
Here's Nick Swisher. 2-2 game. Talking to Pat Tabler, who's one of the Blue Jays television broadcasters, and he said that this is the 3rd time this year that the Blue Jays have had umpires confirm and overturn a call against them. And that's the first time we've seen that.
How'd that come up? I mean,
I said, have you ever seen that?
Oh, you just saw him up here. I thought you brought it up before the game,
No,
you knew it was going to happen or something.
So I'm in the coffee machine.
Yeah. Water jug talk.
You know, but the whole idea is to get it right, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, they got it right.
Swisher hits one deep to left center field. McCoy is there. That'll put it away for the first out. There's Pat Tabler on the left and Buck Martinez on the right. Tabler, I think lifetime had a 500 batting average with the bases loaded.
It might have been better than that. He was strong.
So you see Buck Martinez on the right there. You talk about a guy that just loves to talk about baseball. I mean, he played it, he managed it, he's done all kind of things in it, and he just loves to talk about baseball.
I played against Buck and won a ball in Puerto Rico many moons ago. It's the first time I ever met him. And some of the players on those winter ball teams.
Chavez with a deep drive to right. Bautista in front of the track puts it away for the second out.
Yeah, a couple of near misses here by the Yankees. Swisher now Chavez. Look at Tabler's numbers. Oh, 489. The bases loaded. A couple of grand slams, 108 runs back. You get a lot of RBIs with
Yeah.
you hit that high with the bases loaded. Remember Reggie Jackson played winter ball one year in Puerto Rico? Orlando Cepeda was on his team.
Wow.
Tony Perez.
Some old school names.
Frank Robinson was managing the team. Those were the years when the big leaguers would go down there and actually play winter ball. Now the winter leagues are more used as like instructional leagues. Each country is developing their own players.
What if you watch Morrow, this is the first time you've seen him. Good breaking ball, good fastball. Tonight is one of those nights where he's in the mid-90s with that fastball, and it just makes his breaking ball so much better.
He averages over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. It's best in the league. Although he's kind of hit a little blip in the road here. He's been struggling.
See that slider that he was so good with early in the game, it's starting to flatten out a little bit. And you know, when you lose that sharp break, then that slider becomes much more hittable. That ball just kind of roll up there. Those are the balls that end up in the seats a lot of times. So many more hanging sliders end up as home runs than you do good fastballs, huh, Ken?
There's a base hit on a fastball to center field. So Jones 1 for 2.
That wasn't such a bad pitch. Andrew Jones just went out and served it into center field.
And really, still, Andrew Jones, a fastball hitter. Ball's down and off the plate, probably.
Got the U.S. Open going over on in Flushing, and they just service.
See, everything's open, hips going that way, shoulders going that way, but the bat head stays through the ball. Spells a base hit.
Russell Martin walked and scored in the third inning.
My. See, Russell, all you could do is walk away and just like, you try to make fun of it, but you know you're 0-1. That changes the count. This is just a ball that is just low. It's a breaking ball that ends up down by the ankles. Strike one.
When that happened to me, I would usually turn to the umpire and say, he doesn't need any help.
Exactly.
This is last night. Martin didn't need any help with this one. Ripped it to the gap. 2-run double. Ended up at third base on the hustle. And the Yankees took the lead. That was in the 7th inning at Fenway Park in Boston.
Check swing, grounded right back to Morrow. And he's out tonight for the final out of the 4th. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left. We go to the 5th. It's a 2-2 game right here on Yes. Later on, take the Yankees with you when you travel out of the Yankees' home territory. What do you have to do? Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see Yankees games live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Here's Kelly Johnson. First pitch grounded to Nunez. One pitch, one out here in the fifth.
Johnson came over in the Aaron Hill deal. Hill was traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Johnson comes over to play second in Toronto. He's been playing well since Toronto. You saw his overall numbers. They didn't look very good, although 20 home runs. It's pretty good for a second baseman. Sure. But he's been hitting well with the Blue Jays.
Speaking of the Arizona Diamondbacks, I was reading today where the general manager said 10-game winning streak. He said it a while ago. He was going to shave his head. So going into tonight, they'd won 9 in a row. So might be a big night.
Tonight,
yeah,
too.
Might be a big night.
What do they do? Oh, they haven't started yet out on the West Coast. That might be one.
Oh, those are bad bets, aren't they?
You might want to be watching on your favorite device later on.
That one is drilled to left field. Gardner makes the play. Retiring Laurie.
Blue Jays thinks Laurie's going to be a great player. But when you hit one in Gardner's direction tonight, you're going to come up empty.
Put an absolute clinic out there in left field tonight. This is the play right here, if you ask me. Kind of made the game in the first inning. Tell you what, that
outfield defense.
Got all kind of defense working here tonight, Michael.
Aaron City fouls it back.
He fouled one up here. You got to make a play, Paul.
Where's everybody hang out on Labor Day here? The traffic, I thought I'd leave early because it's Friday, Labor Day weekend. There was nobody. Nobody was on the road today.
Maybe they left yesterday, but that's when people go out to the shore, the Jersey Shore, or the Hamptons.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the last chance.
The last beach weekend.
You picked a good day. It was beautiful.
Because when your shares run out in the houses,
So shares run out in the houses?
Yeah, you rent your houses on the shore or in the Hamptons from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So Labor Day's the last day, and you got to turn in the key.
You're gone.
And you better make sure you have it clean.
Oh, so it's like Animal House out in the Hamptons, huh?
No.
You know, one person we didn't include in the rookies, Aaron Sippy.
20-some home runs. That doesn't happen with catchers very often, you know?
Yeah, but I think the 220 average probably takes him out of the running.
Yeah, but he's second to Trumbo in homers and second to him in RBIs. I'll just throw his name out there.
Well, we found out today from our producer, Bill Bowen, they only have room for 5 faces on that graphic. So we really couldn't throw Aaron Sippy in there.
Yeah, but alphabetically, he would have been first.
3-2. Strike 3. Right off the list right there. A 10-pitch inning. As Nova retires the Blue Jays in order. 1, 2, 3. We're halfway through. Yankees 2 and the Blue Jays 2. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by 5-Hour Energy. Fixes tired fast. One shot, back to work, problem solved. Our Lighter's favorite. And by Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the New York Yankees. Nunez takes a strike as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. A lot of twos. 2-2-1, 2-2-1.
You think Leiter gets the full 5-hour effect of those? I think he gets like 2.5, where a normal person would get like 5.
I think you might be right.
He burns it out early. He was in Boston with you, right?
Yeah. Shot out of a cannon.
He hadn't worked a game in like 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. He had a lot of stuff stored up.
I didn't even know you were doing the broadcast. I didn't hear you talk for
you know what? I didn't have to say much.
Uh-oh. All stitched up.
I hope that wasn't an injury.
Nope, not there.
Oh,
there. See, she went back. She made a mistake.
Count 3-1.
My mom used to knit.
She knit you sweaters?
No, I just walk in and just think, she's in there knitting. I walk out of the room shaking. I was like, God, that was boring. There's so many other things you could do, right?
Now the knitting lobby's going to be writing us letters.
Oh. Beautiful things come out of it. I'm glad that other people do it.
You know, maybe she was doing it. You walk in the room and she says, I'll do this. Maybe he'll leave me alone.
Possibly. 4 little brothers and a sister walk out of the same room.
Foul back. Now, what is that saying, that sweater? I'm baffled. I can't make out what she's writing on the little bear sweater. What does it say?
Teixeira.
You know what does? I think it does say Teixeira.
Is that right? See?
No, there's an M.
It says Trump.
Trump!
Trump!
Where is the Donald? That one's grounded to third. A long throw, and they get Nunez for the first out.
Talked about Lowry. I mean, good play there offensively. He's off the charts. He's one of those guys that a few years down the road, he's going to be one of the all-stars of this season, or of this game.
Yeah, I was talking to Don Wakamatsu before the game about Lowry, the third baseman, as he makes this play. Kind of a broken bat grounder, but he shows off a very, very strong arm. He has to go a couple of steps to his right. That sets up the gun across the diamond for the out. And he said right now they're not really sure who he is. He might be Chris Sabo or he might be Mike Schmidt. We don't know. But he said at this point, in 26 Major League games, he has 20 runs batted in. That's more like Mike Schmidt.
Chris Sabo.
Sabo was a good player, don't get me wrong.
He was probably my best friend when I played with the Reds defensively, second to none. He was an ex-hockey goalie. And it really helped him defensively at third base. Had a couple great years offensively, too. Fun guy to play with. And Mike Schmidt, I mean, you're talking about one of the all-time greats there.
Rounded foul. What was Sabo's nickname? Was it Spuds?
Spuds McKenzie. Pete Rose called him that. Remember the old Spuds McKenzie dog that was the Bud Light dog or whatever it was? Well, when Spuds wore those glasses, Pete thought he resembled Spuds.
Two-one. Sabo finished with 116 home runs. Schmidt 548. Although you know what, Sabo had a higher lifetime batting average. 268 to 267.
How would I never thought Mike Schmidt had 267 career?
He's in the Hall of Fame. I know that.
Yeah.
Yankees and the Blue Jays tied at 2. In Boston, Texas leads 7-0 bottom of the 4th. So if the Yankees can win this game and the Red Sox don't come back, then the Yankees move into sole possession of first place. Now they're essentially tied in the loss column. So the Yankees see that score up there. The 2-2. Now 3-2.
Well, he yanked that one, didn't he?
I tell you what, that's about a 45-foot curveball that as a catcher, you just on the way, you got to know that this is going to hurt. It's going to hit somewhere. See that ball hit all the way halfway on the mound. He's just lucky he didn't get it up under that mask.
Center, almost misjudged by McCoy, but he reaches up to pull it down for the second out.
Tell you what, when you're a hitter and you hit that ball right on the nose and you know it's right at him, you're disappointed. Then you see him start drifting back and you think, oh, maybe he misjudged it. And all of a sudden, you're heading back to the dugout.
Yeah, if the ball got over his head, the race was on. But I told you, Gardner's starting to come out of it. When he's making outs, he's hitting a lot of line shots. And you could see that tomorrow.
Watching McCoy judge that ball too. He was a little relieved when he saw him start drifting back too. Every once in a while that ball will get that backspin on it and it starts to carry and you just can't catch up to it.
Here's Derek Jeter.
Derek's been swinging the bat so well, but he's had tough at bats tonight. Morrow is a guy that throws hard enough to give Derek problems velocity wise, and then he's throwing good sliders to him.
0 for 2. Struck out in the first, reached on an E6 in the third. At Yankee Stadium, Jeter 14 hits in his last 28 at bats. That's good for 500. Interesting shot. The moon sneaking through the lights.
A little moonlight helping out tonight.
In case you need a little more, right?
The 2-1. Looped into center field. That's going to dunk in for a base hit. 2-out single for Derek.
Ball gets in on him, but when Derek stays inside the ball, you see how his hands are inside the ball and he's up the middle. You see him trying to keep that low flap down there, running down first base, trying to make that ball drop even quicker in front of the center fielder. Tell you what, as a hitter, he'll do anything to try to get that thing down. When he stays inside that ball, I was talking, he's so much better of a hitter because even those jam shots end up being hits.
Escobar talking to Tom Hallion, the second base umpire, trying to get his attention. It looks like Hallion is just in between him. Now he's a little step to his left there. And home plate. Maybe he can't see the ball when he gets to home plate.
Most umpires were very good about that. Oh, I mean, your way, I'll move over. Hallion didn't look like he was real happy about it. Must not have been an argument earlier with Escobar about that throw, I guess.
Jeter picked up his 14th stolen base of the year in Boston. You know, I don't think he'll go here. He wants Granderson to hit unless Granderson has 2 strikes. Then he might think about it. But especially with Curtis ahead on the count, I don't think he's going to go. He wants him to get a pitch that turn the game around with one swing.
Talked about it earlier, Michael, with Bautista at the plate getting thrown out at second. You kind of take the bat out of his hand, and Curtis Granderson up in the league leaders with home runs too. So you've got to give guys like this opportunities.
And I also think he's got a chance to have the green line here.
3-0 count, 2 outs, runner at first, 2-2 game, bottom of the 5th.
There's Bruce Walt, Blue Jay pitching coach.
And he does swing and hammers it foul.
See, now the surprise is over. Morrow's going to realize I got to make a better pitch than that.
Yeah. You saw Jeet smiling over there, and I think it was at Lowry, because look how far he is off of third base. Jeet was saying, you know, that I'll beat you there when he's rounding second right here. He'll beat him to third base.
And he walked him.
He knew he had to make a better pitch than the 3-0 pitch, and couldn't hit the corner.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Well, they did give Granderson the green light, but his history shows he's not great with it. He's 0 for 6 when putting a 3-0 pitch in play. Some guys don't like it.
Is that this year?
Career.
Okay. Now here's Cano. He's up in a situation to put the Yankees in the lead, but he's already struck out twice. His plate discipline has to go up a little. He can't chase that breaking ball in the dirt. Get ahead on the counts. Make Morrow throw you a strike. Put a strike in play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think when you get in a situation like this, even as good a hitter as Robbie is, and you know that the guy has had success at that pitch, you don't want to get to that 2-strike. See, he's going right back to it. You swing early in the count. You try to force a ball out to left center field, because that ball down and in, you can still hit the left. When you start swinging over it, Robbie's doing there, it's tough.
That's been the pitch that he has featured to Robinson Cano all night long in his first 2 at-bats in the second and third innings.
That one is ripped into center field. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. Here comes Jeter. He'll score. It's an RBI single for Cano, and the Yankees take a 3-2 lead.
Saw a great adjustment there by Robinson Cano. Hitting the ball up the middle to the left center. You see, he kind of got jammed, but he fought this ball up because his approach was to try to stay inside.
That pitch was not as good as the previous one. It was up a little more, and Cano was able to get to it. But that's when you go to the well once too often as a pitcher. And if you're going to continue to make that pitch, it has to be as good or better as the previous one. Cano's too good a hitter. This one's up. He didn't really smoke it, but he got a base hit out of it into center field, and he gives the Yankees the lead. Here's the previous pitch that we're talking about. This one's going to have a real dot and drop straight down. The next one, it's going to be about thigh high, and then Cano's going to be able to get to it. It's not as good as the other one. And there's your base hit.
For Cano, his 99th ribby, extends his hitting streak to 6 straight. Has also driven in a run in 4 straight games. So Bruce Walton has his say.
All this started with 2 outs and nobody on.
Count 1-0 to Swisher. Swisher struck out and flied to center. Count 2-0.
Tomorrow, 94, there really hasn't lost velocity on his fastball. It's just that some of his breaking balls that were all good early in the game, sharp, are starting to roll in there. He made a mistake to Robbie there. He's made a couple of mistakes that you can see that he wasn't in the first couple innings.
Carlos Villanueva warming for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 5th inning. Yankees trailed 2-0 before they came to bat, but they battled back. They lead 3-2 here after, or in the bottom of the 5th. He's got some giddy up on the fastball.
That was a good one to hit, though. I just had a flashback. This would have been a Paul O'Neill line drive into center field.
Nick Swisher was trying to hit a fly ball out of the stadium there. Once in a while, as a hitter, you feel a fastball, you know you're ahead in the count. Go ahead and take a chance.
It was fun watching you hit, Paul.
All right.
Yeah, it was. Just
fun looking back at it because you forget about all the outs and the strikeouts.
Yeah, you don't remember those. So a good solid hitter. Hit the ball well off field. made a real mistake, you weren't getting it back.
You'd have to deal with him after the game, Kenny.
You're right.
Where'd you come from anyway? you just finding yourself in this conversation.
Swing and a miss. Swisher down on strikes. But the Yankees take a lead. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We go to the 6th. 3-2 Yanks. Texting us at 58772. Paul predicted a landslide for Ivan Nova. Let's see if he's right. That's a landslide.
Yeah, that would be.
You get that in the national election, you're president.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
There's some talk in the home office that you influenced the vote.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm always so good on these questions.
Here's Mike McCoy. Now, Paul, you got what you wanted. Nova's got a lead, so you said the game's over now.
Well, if numbers mean anything, he's 15-0, you know?
Yes, he is. There's a strike. Kenny, you know, we joke about it, but that's a pretty impressive stat for a rookie.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, you can. There it is, 24 career starts.
See,
awesome.
now there's a little caveat to that, though. So the Yankees have lost some games. They lost 3 games that he had a lead. He 15-0 in games he had a lead. So he might have given up a tying run and left.
I'm saying if he gets the lead, he's going to win.
All right. He's trying to bring down expectations.
So Paul, we'll see you tomorrow.
No, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the game here, man. I'm telling you.
Here's a 3-1. Winning streak longest by a Yankee rookie, Russ Ford, and Atlee Donald with 12 in a row. Nova's at 10. High fly ball. Andrew Jones is there. 1 away.
What year was that for? Was it Ross Ford?
I think it was 12, 1912, 1910 or 19. Take another look. 1910 for Russ Ford. Atlee Donald 39. The Fords dominate.
Yeah, they do.
Winning streaks. 40 years apart.
Like NASCAR.
8 in a row retired by Nova. Actually, I'm sorry, 9 in a row. In outside to Escobar.
See, even when Nova misses on his fastball, why that curveball becomes so important, because it breaks away from a right-handed hitter where his fastball runs in. When he misses, I mean, as a right-handed hitter, that ball's coming in at you.
One. Driven into right field. Andrew Jones makes the play.
He's leaping and diving and making all kinds of plays out there.
Let's check out tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Get us online at verizon.com/getfios to get the best deals on Fios. Ricky Romero, tough lefty, 13-9, 2.84 against Bartolo Colon. 8-9. He's pitched better than that. 3.63. Our coverage starts at noon with the batting practice show. That one is driven into left center field. Going back is Granderson. He's not going to get it. But on the play up against the wall. And Eric Thames with a 2-out double.
You know, when Escobar hit that line drive to right field, you saw Nova react like he's shaking his head, knowing he missed up in the strike zone with a fastball. We did it again. Thames put it out into left center field. So, I mean, as good as this stuff is, it flattens out high in the zone. See that ball up, it just kind of tails a little bit. It loses the sink.
Well, Larry Rothschild goes out and talks to the rookie. And this is why this double. That's the first hit that Nova has actually allowed since the first inning. Now, there's some stirring in the Yankee bullpen, but no one's throwing at this point. Good pitch count for Nova, 82. Ayala starting to stretch.
Well, you have one of the top RBI men in the league coming up, who picked up his 90th run batted in. Back in the first inning, leads the league in homers, base open. Decent hitter on deck, though. That's and a left-handed hitter on deck at that, and Adam Lynn. That's where protection pays off.
Have great numbers with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Tell you what, there's a reason for that too, because it gets in your head when you're the man. You know they're pitching around it. Every time you get up with that base open, it's like a mind game. Are they going to give me something to hit? Are they going to try to throw perfect pitches? Very tough time to hit.
Well, they'll throw the fourth one intentionally. So an intentional walk to Jose Bautista, and they'll take their chances with Adam Lynn.
Well, Bautista leads the league in base on balls. He's been walked 109 times now. And I'm sure a few of them been intentional, I should say. And so Lynn is not, he's used to this. Bautista has now been walked 21 times intentionally. That's not exactly Barry Bonds territory, but
I mean, to put that into perspective, I mean, a good hitter is walked intentionally, what, 5, 6, 7 times a year, maybe? He's in the 20s.
You have a great player, you almost need 2 great players, because you got to have somebody behind him, and so on and so on. When you're going to have a lesser threat behind somebody, that's the one that's going to get walked. So now the count 2-0. Bonds in 2004 was actually intentionally walked 120 times.
I mean, that doesn't count. I mean, because he was on a different planet at that point.
120 intentional baseball balls.
Driven out into right center. Granderson back, and he makes the play on the run for the final out of the 6th. So a shaky inning for Nova, but he does not allow a run. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. At the end of 5.5, Yankees lead 3-2. And now a business update from our friends at the Fox Business Network. Brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Yankees lead 3-2. Gardner a 2-run home run. Cano an RBI single. And Thames an RBI double. So Toronto hit the ball hard against Nova in the 6th, but the Yankee defense helped them out. Nice play by Andrew Jones and a nice running play by Granderson to end the inning. Count 0-1 now on Eric Chavez. Brandon Morrow still in there. There's a strike. Felipe Alou is here at the ballpark. There's Mr. October talking with him.
Right,
Brian Cashman there as well.
Felipe revered in the Dominican Republic as both as a player. Started out with the San Francisco Giants, played for the Yankees briefly, and also managed the Montreal Expos in that 1994 season, in which it appeared they were on their way to the World Series until the strike hit late in it was in August of that season. Man, that was a good team.
Before the game, they had a ceremony to honor the Latino Baseball Hall of Fame, and Bernie was inducted into that Hall of Fame, so that's why Felipe is here.
The gentleman on the right there was Minnie Minoso.
He used to pinch hit when he was like 70, didn't he?
High fly ball, right field, really up there. Bautista puts it away for the first out.
Chavez just missed that one. Felipe, one of 3 brothers to play for the Giants at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be really weird.
Yeah, his brother Matty and his brother Jesus. And I remember a game back in the 60s where they all 3 batted in the same inning, and the Mets got all 3 of them out.
Felipe probably the best all-around player.
Yeah.
Matty probably the best hitter, average-wise.
Felipe was good defensively, and this ball's going to roll foul. And yeah, but Matty was good. He won the batting title one year. Yeah, right. But Felipe had more power. told me a story about the 1962 World Series where the Yankees beat the Giants in 7 games. And at Candlestick Park, the Giants had a rally. That was the year that McCovey lined out and the series was over. And the Giants had the tying and winning runs in scoring position. Willie Mays had doubled with 2 outs in the 9th inning off Ralph Terry. And there was no – Terry finished the game, actually. And they gave Terry the choice of pitching to McCovey or Orlando Cepeda, who was up after him. He said, I'll go after McCovey. And he lined down to Bobby Richardson to end the World Series.
But almost knocked down Bobby Richardson.
Yeah, almost did. It was a rocket, and the series was over. But the thing was that it had rained, and the 7th game had been postponed for a few days. And Willie Mays hit a double into the right field corner. Instead of the ball bouncing around, it plugged. And Roger Maris was able to get to it quickly and get the ball back in and held Matty Alou, Felipe's brother, at third. He said if it had been like normal, the ball would have bounced around and he would have scored on the double and tied the game. No,
that's what's great about baseball is you hear these stories and it's just, you know, you remember them because you see them on TV and things like that. It's just the history of this game is what makes it.
Swing and a miss as Andrew Jones down on strikes. Well, Matty was a .307 lifetime average hitter, 2-time All-Star. Felipe had 3-time All-Star, 286 batting average. Felipe had 206 home runs. Matty just had 31, more of a slap hitter.
But I thought that was a great story that, you know, just the conditions of the ballpark. And if you think that nowadays, that wouldn't have happened. The field would have been dried out.
That's right.
Felipe played for the Yankees in 71, 72, and part of 73 before he went on to Montreal.
And one thing he did in Montreal, he was a teammate of mine briefly. And that was early in my career. And I remember my parents were waiting for me to come out of the clubhouse. And he came out before me, and he walked over to my parents, didn't know him, and said, "Don't worry, your son's going to be in baseball for a long time," which was very nice.
Doesn't make you feel good, yeah.
And of course, my dad and mom didn't tell me that story until like after I was through playing. Very nice man. What a gentleman.
Morrow started this inning, and if he got into any problems, probably would have been his last. But you know, he's kind of motored through this inning, but it's still 114 pitches. Chances are that Wakamatsu is going to allow him to try to get through this inning, give him an opportunity to get a win.
You mentioned before that Wakamatsu will not conduct interviews in the manager's office. You know, Don Zimmer did that when Joe Torre was ill. He would not sit behind the manager's desk. Two-two. Swing and a miss. Strong inning for Morrow as he gets the Yankees in order and strikes out 2. We go to the 7th. Felipe Alou's in attendance, and he's watching the Yankees lead 3-2. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World and by Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. Well, we go to the 7th inning. Yankees are up 3-2. Who's that little bobblehead? I think that's Derek Jeter.
It's a little G, didn't it?
Edwin Encarnacion will lead off against Ivan Nova. Pitch is high. 90 pitches for Nova. Encarnacion was on the wrong side of what we think is a game-changing play. In the first inning, he lined a bullet down the left field line that Gardner turned into a 7-6-3 double play. Grounded to second. Nunez. One away. Cadillac scoreboard has the Yankees up 3-2. Now, if you just joined us and said, well, why is Nick Swisher playing first? Mark Teixeira got hit on the right knee yesterday, and it's really sore. So he's out tonight. He might be out tomorrow. It's a day-to-day proposition. He's really banged up getting hit on the knee. So we could see him maybe Sunday. In all likelihood, he's not going to play tomorrow. Alex Rodriguez is saying he's going to take an extra day, and there's a good chance you could see him play tomorrow.
I'll tell you what, that Teixeira last night, just the sound of that, bring back bad memories. That just, it hurts. There's no way around it.
Nick Swisher grabs the ground ball by Kelly Johnson, 2 away. Here's Brett Laurie. He's 0 for 2.
Blue Jays actually got Laurie from the Milwaukee organization in a deal for Sean Mark, a pretty good pitcher who's doing good things for the Brewers.
I have to talk about a team that just all of a sudden you look at the win column and you're like, what? Milwaukee Brewers?
Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder.
Swing and a miss. That is an impressive 7th inning for Ivan Nova. He's pumped up, and why not? As he retires the Blue Jays in order. At the end of 6.5 time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees lead 3-2, but will stay right here to honor America in the Bronx. postgame show along with Kim Jones. Verlander is something else.
Been in charge all year.
Pretty amazing. Well, Don Wakamatsu makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. So Brandon Morrow's done after 6 innings, and they turn it over to another righty, Carlos Villanueva. Less than a hit per inning. 26 walks, 63 strikeouts.
Yeah, I just saw him in a starting role up in Toronto at the Rogers Center against the Yankees.
Here's Eduardo Nunez as the Cadillac scoreboard shows you the Yankees up 3-2. Count 1-0. So Morrow gave up 4 hits and 3 runs. Pitched well, but he's been outdueled to this point by Ivan Nova. 3-0.
And Villanueva actually started a game against the Yankees at Rogers Center on July 17th. And worked 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs. And the Yankees won 5-2.
It's amazing to me, and I was watching the game a little bit last night. It's like, you know, the Yankees in Boston, it seems like they win every night. But then if you look at the records,
fly ball, left field, Thames is there.
It puts into perspective what the Phillies have done this year. I mean, how many wins they're chalking up, you know?
They won it again tonight?
Win every night.
Yeah, they're winning.
I think that you could feel quite certain that the 3 best teams in baseball are the Phillies, Yankees, and the Red Sox. And the 4th team, I think, is far off. And you can argue who the 4th team is, but those are the 3 teams that are the class of baseball right now. And you can see from the previous 3 games, the Yankees and the Red Sox are extraordinarily evenly matched.
You could argue that the 4th best team in baseball is in 3rd place in the American League East at times. I mean, with their pitching, the Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, they're a good team.
Buck Showalter, the Oriole manager, said today that he thought that Tampa Bay was going to win the wild card in the East.
Did he say it was this year?
Yeah. How's it going to happen?
Well, they're right now 9 games in the loss column behind the Yankees.
That's a lot of ground to make up in a month.
Yeah, that's...
Well, one thing, though, they have a lot of games with the Yankees and the Red Sox left, so... But
it's still very steep.
They have to win every single game. Their run, Paul, would have to be like the run of your 95 Yankee team when over the last 34 games you guys were 27-7.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
It was fun.
That was the only time that I've been around baseball where I could tell when a team clinched. You were all kind of happy for yourselves, but you were all elated for Don Mattingly. It was like you made that run for Don Mattingly.
It was, I mean, that's what was written, that he had never been to the playoffs, and that there was, you know, some kind of talk that it might be his last year, last chance. I think it just showed how much respect people in New York, including the players, had for Don Mattingly as a player, as a person.
We've got the Mattingly jerseys here at the stadium. By the way, the Rays have 7 games left with the Red Sox and 6 games left with the Yankees. Oh, there's a makeup.
Yeah,
okay, there's a makeup.
7-7. Yeah. Good drink.
And the last 3 games were against the Yankees in Tampa Bay. So a walk to Gardner, and that'll bring up Jeter. Strike to Derek. have a little bit of a decision to make. Nova looked great in the 7th inning. Do they let him pitch the 8th? Right now, Soriano is warming up. And he is, looks like he's ready to go for the 8th. Oh, under the glove of Johnson, and it trickles into center field. That should have been an inning-ending double play. So Jeter reaches. We'll see how they score. It should be an E4.
Jeter's picking on the middle infield. He's reached on an E6, and this, as Michael said, should be an E4 right by Johnson.
Once in a while, as a field, you don't know whether to catch it in the air. He looks like he's going to try to play a short hop. Just came up, all stayed down.
Right here, Johnson comes up a little short. It's going to be an E4.
When you see Soriano in the bullpen, that tells you that all the pitches that David Robertson threw in the 8th inning yesterday, they don't want to use them back to back. Although Soriano pitched the 8th yesterday, didn't throw as many pitches, and he's the guy that's up. Or maybe because Mariano threw a lot of pitches, Robertson is the closer tonight.
How many pitches Mariano had last night?
I think it was
30s?
Close to 30.
That's close.
28. Granderson fouls it back.
If you look at Jeter taking his lead at first base, he's keeping a keen eye on Gardner at second. Remember, there's only one out. This is a situation where, well, there's 2 strikes on Gardner. Gardner might actually think about trying to get the 3rd. But the problem now is that Granderson's going to have to swing. He's got 2 strikes. So he wouldn't be able to take a pitch to allow them to move over.
Job as a runner on first base is just to follow, but you have to make sure it's not a fake steal. You have to make sure that a lot of times guys kind of back off stealing with a left-handed player, left-handed hitter at the plate. It's a much easier throw for the catcher to third base.
Yeah.
Brett Gardner's got speed. He can outrun the baseman.
Yeah, he can. And if you look at Lowry, the third baseman, he keeps looking over at Gardner like he's awaiting a train or something. Looking down the tracks.
There he goes. Throw to second, and Jeter's in there. So it's a double steal.
That's why you got to know, if you're Derek Jeter, you have to get a good jump. You can get a better lead because you're not held on at first base with the guy on second. But you got to make sure that you get, because they can throw behind you. Good job.
39 for Gardner, 15 for Jeter.
And Granderson strikes out. He didn't like the call. So now let's see what they do with Cano.
That looked too close. Certainly, that was a strike. Granderson trying to take a pitch, allow him to steal, but you don't have that luxury with 2 strikes.
Right. And man, that's a decision, as a catcher that you make before it even happens. You look where Gardner is, you look where Jeter is. It's not something that you pick up as they're running and decide you're going to throw to second. I mean, it's a decision you make before that play starts. See, Cano's going to get intentionally walk.
Now, you don't mind having Nick Swisher come up, but you do kind of call into question the wisdom of stealing if you're going to take the bat out of the hand of Cano.
Steal with, try to get other people in scoring position. You don't really take into consideration. You just want to try to throw a big inning together.
5th time this year that Cano's been intentionally walked.
It just goes to show you that Barry Bonds stat. I mean, Robbie Cano, in my mind, is top 2 or 3 hitters in baseball. Period. That's the 5th time he's been intentionally walking. What was Bonds, 120?
That's unfathomable. 120 intentional base on balls in 1 year.
That would take a lot of fun out of the game.
No,
to the ballpark knowing you're going to get a couple every day.
One time, Buck Showalter walking with the bases loaded.
Yeah,
I did it.
Got away with it too.
Yeah, got the next guy in.
I think it was Brent Maine, and he hit a line drive to right field. Here's Swisher, bases loaded, 2 outs. Villanueva deals a strike. We know that Bonds is the Major League record for intentional walks. The American League record for intentional walks in a season, just 33. Held jointly by Ted Williams and John Olrud. Good numbers for Swisher against Villanueva, 3 for 4. With 1 out this inning, Gardner walked. Jeter reached on an E4 that would have been a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Granderson struck out as Jeter and Gardner executed a double steal to go to second and third. Then Cano was intentionally walked to pitch to Swisher with the bases loaded.
I'll tell you what, you got to have a lot of faith in your catcher to throw that bouncing curveball with bases loaded. I mean, right here, he bounced that ball on purpose. Bases loaded, you got to have a lot of faith in your catcher that he's going to keep that thing in front of him. And another.
Trying to get Swisher to bite. Nick's discipline levels up. Bases loaded.
See, I just don't think as a pitcher against the Yankees or the Red Sox, both disciplined teams, veteran teams, that you can waste 2 pitches like that. Now you put yourself down to throwing 1 pitch and before you're a full count, and then you're in big trouble as a pitcher.
Yeah, they're not sure. They got out of the attack mode.
Right.
Yeah.
I think as a hitter, I mean, when you go 0-2 and you fight back to 2-2, you're in a hitter's count again. I mean, a lot has to happen on this pitch because the pitcher, you know, they don't want to go full count with bases loaded.
2-2. And that's exactly what they do. And that's also a danger about walking the bases loaded in front of Swisher. He will not help you out. Big crowd, many of them getting up. The runners will go with 2 outs. Yankees lead 3-2, bottom of the 7th. And the pitch hit sharply to first. Lind right there. Steps on the bag, so the Blue Jays strategy works. And the Yankees don't score. No runs, no hits, 1 error. The bases are left loaded. We go to the 8th, 3-2 Yanks.
Hey fans, come out to Yankee Stadium tomorrow, September 3rd, to celebrate Labor Day weekend when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays. The first 18,000 guests 14 and younger will receive a Yankees binder courtesy of Turkey Hill. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees Clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Did you get that, Mike?
Nice job. I didn't get the binder yet, but tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, we go to the 8th inning, and the pitcher for the Yankees is Rafael Soriano, the Hyundai scoreboard. Yankees holding on to a 3-2 lead. So in the trio of pitchers that pitch the final 3 innings for the Yankees, somebody's being left out. We'll find out when we see who pitches the 9th. Looks like Mariano is warming up, or at least starting to loosen up. So that would mean that Robertson tonight is the odd man out. And Robertson threw 25 pitches yesterday. Soriano 21. Count goes 2-0 to Arancibia. Since returning off the DL in 13 games, Soriano has pitched to a 3.09 ERA, lowering his total one down to 4.39. 11 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings. Count 2-1. Popped up and out of play.
No, but that streak continues now. In his last 12 starts, he's had 8 of them with 2 earned runs or less.
Strike 3. Arancibia down looking. He struck out 3 times tonight.
Hat trick for Arancibia. One swinging in the 2nd, and looking in the 5th, and looking again here in the 8th. Target's low and away. That pitch clips the outside corner.
Frees up as a hitter, and you just wish you had it back. You could try to foul it off and get another pitch.
Here's Mike McCoy. Shows bunt. There's a strike. Soriano could be such a weapon for this team if he continues to pitch the way he's pitched since coming up the DL, and if he can revert back to what he was last year with the Tampa Bay Rays, AL saves leader. Oh, just missed Soriano. A single to center.
Chuck and duck there, Kenny?
Yeah, that's it. It's one of them. Look at.
Ball out over the plate. You hit it on the barrel. Pitcher doesn't have any time to react. Guys start hitting them up the middle like that. You'll see pitchers kind of change and start trying to bust them in once in a while to keep them honest.
You ever hit a pitcher with a line drive?
Oh, opening night once in Tampa in the minor leagues, I hit a guy right between the eyes. Yeah, they carried him off the field. I'm like, oh my goodness. And the funny thing is, first game back, I don't know, 6 weeks later or something, he's pitching again. I hit a ball right back up the middle again.
Next time I'd be grilled you, right?
No, I was going to say, if it's the big league, sooner or later he would have got me, right?
You ever make the big leagues, that guy?
No, I don't think so.
Carreno is warming in the bullpen.
Your old Spanish accent really amazing.
Thank you.
I like that.
It's the 8 years I took.
Yeah.
4 in high school, 4 at Fordham.
It's helped you. It's helped you up here in the booth.
You know, I took a year in winter ball. That was
right.
Yeah.
Bet you learned more.
You know, my Latin and Russian hasn't helped me a bit up here. You know that?
The thing about it, you hear a different language all the time, every day. You pick it up a little bit better.
tap back up the middle. Jeter steps on the bag, fires to first, but Swisher can't dig it out. That was slow developing.
I don't know if Nunez had a chance to make that play and step on second.
You know, it looked like he almost got out of the way because Derek's the only one going towards the play that can make a double play here. This is really close at second base.
Yeah.
Nick Swisher again, kind of an in-between hop. Clearly out.
Hits before the foot of McCoy. I'll tell you what, Nick Swisher starting his first game at first, but you realize how much you miss Mark Teixeira when he's not there. That might have been a play that Teixeira comes up with, it ends the inning.
And you're so used to watching Teixeira just do things every single night defensively.
Count 1-0 on Thames. Thames is 2 for 3 with a run scored. First two Blue Jays and a lot of scored runs in the first inning. And that's still the only runs they've scored. A lot of zeros up there. We're in the 8th, top. Yankees lead 3-2.
It's funny because a couple of series I've done here with you, Michael, some teams just look overmatched when they're out there, in Yankee Stadium when the Yankees play pretty good baseball. Now, the Blue Jays, when you talk about where they're going in the future, they look like, they can play with Boston. They can play with the Yankees. Not every single night, but on given nights. So they're closer than most people think.
Nice play by Eduardo Nunez to end the inning. And take a base hit away from Eric Thames, and also keep Jose Bautista out of the batter's box with 2 runners on. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Yankees lead. Text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Ivan Nova. Number 2, Brett Gardner. Pitch to Chavez is outside. Number 3, Eric Thames. And number 4, Robinson Cano. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. There's a strike to Chavez.
Hey, there's a couple guys who get hit a little bit.
Hyundai scoreboard. Yankees up 3-2.
Every day, one of them was going to get you, or both.
Grounded to second. Kelly Johnson one away. So Soriano with a scoreless 8th inning, and now the Yankees will turn it over to Mariano. But with Andrew Jones coming up, it's like Don Wakamatsu is going to bring in another righty. That's exactly what he's going to do. So Villanueva is done. Andrew Jones due up. Yankees trying to build on a 3-2 lead. Stay right here. Well, after the last out, keep hearing this for the WB Mason postgame as Bob Lorenz will break down all the action from this game, including the latest scores from around baseball. Plus, Joe Girardi's press conference and Kimberly Jones talks to the team in the clubhouse. It's all coming up after the last out, only on Yes. Is that the WB Mason guy?
He's definitely a relative, don't you think?
Could be.
Who but?
New pitcher for the Blue Jays. Fastball slider. Joel Carreño started the season in Double-A, and you can see what he's done in 4 games.
Last year was pitching in the Florida State League. That's A-ball. He had 173 strikeouts in 137 innings.
Well, you said his fastball slider with that many strikeouts, he can either blow you away or he's got a nasty slider. We're going to see pretty quick.
Fastball.
Fastball 91. All right, I'm going to go with a good slider.
He's just warming up.
Yeah, pretty good slider.
That's a pretty good one.
Blue Jays carry 8 relievers, 7 righties. There's that slider again. He's 24 years old, from the Dominican Republic, and made his major league debut a couple of weeks ago. Made 23 starts at Double-A this year. 7-9, 3.41 ERA, 152 strikeouts in 134 and 2/3 innings pitched. He actually skipped AAA, so he went from Double-A right up to the big leagues. The 2-2. Tried to sneak a fastball by him. You don't do that with Andrew Jones, and that's a foul ball.
High heater. Andrew said no.
This guy a little bit too quick.
We'll have none of that, kid.
Another slider grounded to short. 2 outs here in the 8th.
Made him go right to the slider, though, didn't it? After swinging a fastball like that.
But if you want to look ahead to the 9th inning, who Mariano Rivera is going to have to deal with, it ain't easy. 3, 4, and 5 in the Blue Jay order: Bautista, Lynn, and Encarnacion.
We talked about it yesterday, Michael. Mariano had an ninth inning where he labored. So how he bounces back tonight, you'll see in the first couple of hitters. A little sidearm delivery, which makes that slider even tougher to right-handers.
Swing and a miss. Count 0-2. Brandon Morrow started. Villanueva came on to pitch the 7th, got the first out of the 8th. Morrow went 6, and now Carreño trying to get the final 2 outs of the 8th inning. Russell Martin tonight, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
Russell Martin, you talk about somebody that can pick up the ball and almost lean into that ball. It's such a natural reaction when the ball's out at you to get out of the way. You see him almost kind of lean into it. These catchers that think differently, don't they, Ken?
Grounded to third. Laurie. And that will do it. Here in the 8th as the Yankees go down in order with the ground ball at second, short, and third. It's Mariano Rivera's time as we go to the 9th. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by HP, Everybody On, by Grey Goose, the world's best tasting vodka, and by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. On a beautiful night in New York City, the Yankees try to grab a win here in the first game of this 3-game set. Yankees lead 3-2 as we go to the 9th inning, and a very tough 9th inning last night at Fenway, where Mariano got Adrian Gonzalez looking at a called third strike to end the game and give the Yankees the victory and also the win in the series. And he's going to face Bautista, Lind, and Encarnacion, looking for his 37th save. Now, a strange occurrence last night. Mo actually walked 2 batters in the inning. The last time he had 2 unintentional walks in an inning was on September 19, 2007 against Baltimore. So about 4 years ago. Yankees make some defensive changes. Nunez moves from second to third, take over for Chavez. Cano goes from the DH to second base. Dickerson's in right. There's a strike to Bautista. Bautista, the major's leading home run hitter. There's Dickerson in right. Nunez at third. Cano, the second baseman. The 0-1.
Ouch.
That went straight down off the left foot.
Tell you what, you're so used to seeing Mariano's cutter go away from you. And then when he tries to run one back in on you, you have a tendency to look in and see pull his hands in. Foul that ball right off the shin.
Yeah, this takes all the fun out of an at bat.
It does.
Man, he's still walking it off.
4 at-bats against Rivera a lifetime. He does not have a hit. Now the trainer's going to come.
Stevie and Gino used to run out there. You know, the longer you wait, the worse it hurts. You're better off just getting back in there and getting your at bat while you can still concentrate, because, you know, in the next 15 minutes or so, that thing just starts throbbing.
The 0-2. Strike 3. Bautista down looking. So not only is his leg throbbing, but now he walks away with a strikeout.
Well, he's set up by that strike 2 pitch in on it. You think he's probably going to come back in, and you see Russell Martin set up outside cutter right on the outside corner.
Probably caught more of the plate than Mo would want.
See that front hip opening up, and that tells me that that hitter's looking for a ball inside. Doesn't want to hit that ball off his shin again.
Definitely had the plate.
Just clip that outside corner. Here's Adam Lynn. On the 9th inning in Boston, Texas leads 10-0 over the Red Sox. So the Yankees can hold on. They're in first place alone in the East. There's a strike. Lynn sack fly in the first, grounded to second in the fourth, flied out to center in the sixth. Grounded to second. Cano is there. Yankees 1 out away.
I'll tell you one thing, Mariano's sharper tonight than he was last night, even after the pitches he threw last night. That ball right there, that's the cutter that just eats left-handers up inside.
This is the one where the bat didn't break, but it really thought about it.
Wasn't hit hard enough. You saw he pulled his hands in, just try to get the barrel to it. There's just no way.
Here's Encarnacion. He has 15 home runs. Count on 1.
Tell you what, you say that 15 home runs, and that is impressive to me, because the first series we did early in the year, I think it was almost mid-May. He didn't have 1 home run yet, so he's done a lot of damage in a short amount of time.
Count 1-1. 2 for 5 against Rivera, 1 home run. 47,240 here at the stadium watching the Yankees and the Jays, and now the Yankees are 1 strike away from a series opening win.
Encarnacion just saw a pitch that he could have done something with. The ball up in the zone, you just don't see very often from Mariano. Problem is, as a hitter, you can't foul that ball off.
A 1-2 outside. Yankees were down 2-0 at the top of the first. But Brett Gardner's 2-run home run in the third tied the game. And an RBI single by Cano in the fifth gave them a 3-2 lead. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Now 3-2.
He went back to the 2-seamer, Kenny. You see that ball running in. That's the ball that Bautista fouled off his shin. He got that ball way inside.
Bautista's going to feel it tomorrow, too.
See, completely different motion from that cutter.
Here's the payoff pitch. High fly ball. Deep right. Dickerson back. On the track. Makes the play. And the Yankees win 3-2. And you can put it on the left side, and it looks like the Yankees are going to move into first place in the American League East. That's save number 596 for Mo. The Yankees are now 30 games over 500 for the first time this season, and Ivan Nova picks up his 15th win And he's the first rookie since 1968 to win 15 games for the Yankees. And in that year, it was Stan Bonson who rang up 17 wins. And Nova probably has 5 starts left, so he can do some special things for this team. Brett Gardner did some special things today with those catches out left and then the 2-run home run. We want you to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. So the crowd of 47,240, they file out, feeling good about life, and so is Brett Gardner because he's standing next to Kim Jones.
Well, thank you, Michael and Brett. Those Red Sox series and Yankees always take a lot out of both